Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the U.S. Center and welcome to our event, Aim for Climate, Revolutionizing Innovation at the Nexus of Food Security and Climate Change. It's our honor to introduce to the stage the Senior Advisor to the Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, David Livingston.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the U.S. Pavilion here in the second week of COP28. I hope for those of you who are newly arriving, you are already having a rewarding, engaging, and productive COP so far. For those of you who are now entering your second week at COP, I hope that you found all those things plus a little bit of rest and sleep. It is an immense pleasure and indeed a privilege to be able to moderate today's event. In my work for Secretary Kerry's office, one of the very first things that I had the privilege to work on with our Emirati partners here in the UAE was, in the very early days of the Biden administration in 2021, Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate. It was, back in those early days of 2021, just a seed of an idea. What if the world's largest agricultural exporter and a small but mighty agricultural importing state, less than 100 years old, driven by an ethos of looking to the future and accelerating innovation, what if those two countries came together to lift up the world's investment in climate-smart agriculture innovation and called in other stakeholders and actors rather than calling people out? It was a novel idea. And like every seed, it took the watering and the careful curation and hard work of teams on both continents, over here in the Middle East, in the UAE, as well as back in the United States. I want to recognize the incredible leadership of Secretary Vilsack, the U.S. Department of Ag team, Jamie, Christian, Hope, so many others. I also want to recognize the incredible work of Minister Al-Mahari here in the United Arab Emirates and her team, Roa, Fatima, Chris, and again, so many others. It truly takes a village. Now, Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate has grown to 55 countries, over 600 partners in total across the public, private, philanthropic, NGO, civil society sectors, 78 innovation sprints, with 28 new innovation sprints here at COP28. These include impactful partnerships like, for example, the Vision for Adapted Crops and Soils, VACS, which is fostering more resilient food systems with an initial focus on the African continent, supporting climate-resilient crop varieties and building healthy soils with an initial investment of $100 million in new funding. These are the sorts of partnerships represented by so many of you in the audience coming together and working across public and private sector, working across continents and geographies on specific climate-smart agriculture innovation priorities that have changed the conversation around climate, ag, and food. We're all doing a bit of a victory lap here at COP28, even as we know that we also have our work cut out for us in the remaining time in this important initiative. Now, I would also be remiss if I didn't thank the incredible work of so many of our partners who have been there from the very beginning, philanthropies, the UNFAO, and so many others who recognize the role that Aim4C can play, brought it into the conversation on climate-smart ag innovation, and brought us to where we are today here in Dubai. Now, for some brief welcome remarks and to frame up just exactly where we've come and where we stand today, let me introduce to you Undersecretary at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Dr. Shavonda Jacobs-Young.
Thank you and good morning, good early morning. Welcome to the U.S. Center. This is a wonderful opportunity to have you join us to really focus on and recognize the accomplishments of Aim for Climate. Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate Initiative, Aim4C. We know that in the past, science has been the answer to many of the challenges that we faced in agriculture, and today is no different. We know that bringing together the power of partnership and the potential that we have with the best and brightest minds is our only way to really advance climate-smart agriculture, to ensure that agriculture is empowered to be a part of the solution. I know that we have heard some really great presentations this week already from our Aim for Climate partners, our Sprint Innovation teams. We've seen a group that had a goal of raising $200 million in 1 year. They accomplished that goal amazingly because so many people recognize this as a window of opportunity. The momentum is here. The UAE and the United States coming together to launch Aim for Climate at COP26 in 2021 was just the message we needed to really capitalize on the moment. So I want to thank all the partners in the room. I want to thank you for your investments. I want to thank you for your time and your energy and believing in the vision of what we can do, the power of what we can bring. Aim for Climate brings together all of our best to catalyze and drive transformative action in reaching our innovations. I know that if we don't do this, this is an imperative. In agriculture, we have to move fast. The time is now. We don't have time to waste. We need innovation small and large. And I want us all to come back together in 2025 at COP30 to look back on all of the accomplishments of Aim for Climate. So what I'd like to do now is ask you to turn your attentions to the screen, and we want to highlight for you the 2023 Aim for Climate video. Thank you.
What a powerful testament to what has been done this year and what has been built over the past 2 years. I would also encourage you, as the end of the video noted, to engage vigorously with our website, aimforclimate.org, if you want to learn more, or if you happen to be here out of curiosity and are interested in how you can become a partner. With that, it's now my pleasure to introduce someone who truly needs no introduction, so I'll keep it very short. Secretary Vilsack.
I've been introduced so many times in my life that's why I'm just tired of listening to it. Thank David. Thank you. And thanks to everybody who's here today. I think it's important to begin by thanking our hosts. The government of the United Arab Emirates, I think, is committed to putting on a truly historic COP. A lot of time and effort and thought has gone into this, and I want to note and thank the government for an amazing event. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my partner, Minister Al-Mahari, who will be here in just a little bit. She has been a driving force behind Aim for Climate, and she has acknowledged and understood the importance of innovation and the significance of innovation in moving forward towards dealing with the challenges of climate change as it relates to food and agriculture. I also want to congratulate her on her recent efforts with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in which she was able to secure a commitment that will allow not only resources to be provided to assist us in continuing the Aim for Climate effort, but also understanding that once we identify innovations, it's going to be important to scale up those innovations. And so she has done a remarkable job of providing resources for that effort. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the U.S. team. The U.S. team that's responsible for putting the center together. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. There are a lot of events that take place at this center, a lot of planning and scheduling, and I really appreciate the enormous effort that has been underway. And I want to just simply reiterate David's comments about the two teams, the Aim for Climate teams, the U.S. and the UAE, done a remarkable job. When you hear the statistics that we've heard about the growth of this initiative, I think you understand and appreciate why we are so appreciative of the work of the teams. You know, I think this does present a moment for us to celebrate accomplishments, but also understanding that there are still many, many steps yet to take. We know there's a broad array of technologies that will be emerging, and some have already emerged, that are going to enable the agricultural sector and the food sector to tackle climate change. More efficient fertilizers, plant and animal genetic improvements, food waste and bioproduct innovations, better manure management, for example, can improve the economies of farming while reducing the pressure to bring new lands into production. And at the same time, they can play a role in reducing emissions and storing carbon. We also know that it's about going further, farther, and faster. We also need to make sure that as new technologies and approaches are identified, that they are transferred into the field in a way that enables the farmer, large and small, to access and apply, with an emphasis on the small landholders. This is the real challenge in virtually every country, and it's a specific challenge in the U.S. because innovations and partnerships are incredibly important and necessary to make this work happen. I'm pleased to be here today to celebrate some of the accomplishments of the Agricultural Innovation Mission for Climate. Since launching at COP26, Aim for Climate partners have significantly increased their investment in climate-smart agriculture and food systems. They've accelerated the innovation, and they've communicated the impact of these investments. Now, you've heard the numbers already, but they're worth repeating. Aim for Climate partners have more than doubled the total increased investment in climate-smart agriculture and food system innovation from $8 billion at COP27 to $17 billion here today. We've more than doubled the number of innovation sprints since COP27 to 78. And we've more than doubled the number of partners since COP27 to over 600 now at COP28, including, as David indicated, 55 government partners. As impressive as these numbers are, I want you to visualize the farmers behind those innovations. Regardless of where they might be, farmers all over the world can benefit from this work. And I think these impressive numbers from our partners demonstrate a strong global commitment, which is going to be absolutely essential and necessary if we're to accept the challenge of addressing food insecurity and nutrition insecurity while at the same time responding to a changing climate. So, above all, thank you to the Aim for Climate partners for your commitment and your support and your ongoing willingness to invest in this effort. I will be the first to admit when then Secretary Kerry called me, I think David may have been on the phone, and suggested the idea of a partnership with the UAE, color me skeptical. I didn't quite understand it, but there was a commitment after I met with Minister Al-Mahari that I understood and appreciated, that there was there. And certainly our work today suggests that. We do recognize that accelerating and scaling and the deployment of this innovation is important, so we need obviously these public-private partnerships to continue. And I think it's important to highlight several of them that the U.S. is specifically involved in. We launched at Top 27 the Enteric Fermentation Research and Development Accelerator, and this was the project that Dr. Jacobs-Young alluded to. It set as a goal to raise $200 million. Now, I think most of us felt that it would probably take several years for that to happen. But in fact, they have mobilized $200 million from philanthropy, government, and private sector to accelerate the progress in the development and implementation of methane mitigating technologies, which is obviously good news for the livestock industry. And we're participating in this effort by contributing $10 million for research that's certainly aligned with the Sprint's objectives. And I think this is an important message as well. It's not just about the specific announcements we make, it's about what has also sort of spawned from the work of AIM for Climate. We also announced a $5 million effort to establish the Efficient Fertilizer Consortium. Now, this is being led by the Foundation for Food and Agriculture Research, and this consortium is designed to advance efficient, environmentally beneficial, and cost-effective fertilizers and management practices. Now, this consortium launched earlier this year, and to date there have been 4 organizations willing to join, both public and private, and they've committed more funding, now doubling the initiative. And this is a good example of what can be spawned from AIM for Climate. In addition to this, the United States government, USDA, has committed $900 million to nearly potentially 90 projects to look at ways in which we can produce more efficient fertilizer, substitutes for fertilizer, or encourage our farmers to understand how they can use less or, in some cases, no fertilizer. AIM for Climate is uniquely positioned, I think, to build greater public-private investment and cross-sectorial partnerships globally. So, tremendous opportunity. And through the Partnership for Climate Smart Commodities initiative, which we launched at USDA, we too are engaged directly in critical partnerships with universities and tribes and farm groups and food companies and retailers and environmental and conservation groups through 141 innovative projects aimed at jump-starting the adoption of climate-smart practices and the creation of new markets, which is also critically important for climate-smart commodities. Finally, while increasing the investment is certainly key, we also need to communicate the outcomes of these efforts to further enable opportunities for global cooperation and motivate others to act. The AIM for Climate Summit earlier this year in D.C. was an historic event where we did just that. We launched the USDA's International Climate Hub. And part of our USDA Climate Hub, it's part of our network. It's a platform to share research tools, collaborative efforts, and best practices on a global scale. I hope that you'll stay for the next event that I think will focus some attention on the work of this International Climate Hub. And Innovation Sprint partners have been sharing the impact of their work through our AIM for Climate Innovation Report. Now, this is a video series which communicates the impact and accomplishments of the Innovation Sprints. The future of food security and addressing the challenges of climate change, I believe, and I think all of you believe as well, relies on collective action. I hope all of you will join us in this journey to expand partnerships and increase investment and support for climate-smart agriculture and food system innovation for a more food secure and better future. Let me finish by simply saying this. Again, I encourage all of us as we talk about innovations and technologies and sprints and big numbers, that we understand behind all of it, there's a farmer somewhere, who today is deeply concerned about how he or she will be able to produce a crop, how he or she will be able to adapt or mitigate to a changing climate which they see and recognize on a daily basis. The work is so credibly important, and how that same farmer understands and appreciates the role that he or she plays in providing food for the people of their community, their country, and the world. This is important work, and you are all part of it, and I think should be congratulated for the steps we've taken so far, and I look forward to coming back next year and reporting on even more success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Secretary Vilsack, for those eloquent words. Your elaboration on the importance not just of what AIM for Climate has put forward, but also what it has catalyzed that has reverberations and positive impact and evolution for years to come is very resonant. I think nowhere is this more evident than in the Aim for Climate Grand Challenge on AI and machine learning. After all, the very first initials in Aim for Climate are AI. It was only appropriate that we tackled, with some degree of foresight on the part of our terrific teams, the role that AI and machine learning could play in positively transforming today's food systems. Now, we don't just announce winners. We announced, of course, the winners of the Aim for Climate Grand Challenge on AI and machine learning at the Aim for Climate Summit earlier this year. But it's not our ethos to just declare those winners and then walk away and look away. It's important to check in on how they're doing, how they are growing, and how they can continue to partner with all of you. So for that, it's my pleasure to introduce a video on our Aim for Climate Grand Challenge winner, Agrospace, supported by Enterprise Neurosystem. Thank you.
Hey everyone, warm greetings from Agrospace in Chile, a country of stunning mountains and extensive coastline stretching over 4,500 kilometers. My name is Italo.
Hola, I am Tomás. Together we are the creator of IRSmart, agrotech's first product, an innovation in agtech using AI and satellite data. We are honored to have won the prestigious AI Grand Challenge at the Aim for Climate Summit in Washington, D.C. IRSmart effectively uses satellite data and analyzes weather patterns in order to measure moisture content in soil and water consumption in plants. This allows us to determine the schedule for irrigation at different scales, from individual farms to entire regions.
With Chile's diverse climates, from desert to glaciers, in turn need to inspire us at Agrospace to create versatile solutions. IRSmart is our answer to that diverse conditions. This achievement is not only ours, it's a triumph for every farmer battling drought and water scarcity. With data from NASA and European Space Agency, IRSmart helps farmers to maximize their crop yield using minimal water.
By expanding our reach, we can now help farmers worldwide, putting sustainable technology at the heart of farming.
As we approach COP28 with the support of Enterprise Neurosystem, we are eager to demonstrate how IRSmart is a game changer in global climate resilience and food security.
Today, many farmers are dealing with drought, and sooner or later, all farmers will face it one day. Winning this prize enables us to expand our work in Chile. Now we are focused on helping local farmers, recovering reused water from cities and mining activities, and solving water leakage in national distribution system. This achievement demonstrates that even from a remote region, we were able to develop local solutions to address specific problems, which thereafter had a global impact.
Here's to a future where technology and agriculture merge, making every drop of water count. From Chile to the rest of the world, Agrospace is using IRSmart to make desert blooms and support hard-working farmers in their fight against climate change. Our thanks to Aim for Climate and the Enterprise Neurosystem for their recognition and support.
Thank you. Welcome to
Agrospace.
Agrospace.
That's incredibly exciting. And I want to note we have Italo in the audience here today. So thank you so much for joining us, Italo, and thank you for everything that you and Agrospace are doing to bring these solutions to developing countries around the world. It's now an immense pleasure to be joined here at the Aim for Climate event at the U.S. Pavilion by Her Excellency Maryam Al-Maheri. Her Excellency has been an incredible leader, not just in Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate, but I'd like to take a second to also recognize her leadership at this COP over the past year in the build-up to this COP28 presidency, and in fact, over all the years that we have worked with her in office and in the Biden administration on food and agriculture systems. There has never been a climate conference or a COP in which food and ag has showed up so prominently and has had all the right focus. It is perhaps not Minister Al-Mahari's life work, but it is certainly her hard work over the course of this year that has led us to a historic food declaration with more than 146 countries joining. You, your team, again, Fatima, Roa, Chris, and so many others have been instrumental in the success of AIM for Climate, the elevation of food and ag issues at this COP, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to the podium.
Thank you so much. And really, with my partner, Secretary Vilsack, what a journey it has been these past 2 years. And I'm sure you've all seen the numbers. Last year, at $8 billion of committed investments, we've more than doubled to $17 billion of committed investments. Last year, 275 partners, now over 600 partners. And the innovation sprints stood at 27 last year and now are at 78 innovation sprints. And seeing these stories are just showing what impact AIM4C has to the world, and also really helping the smallholder farmers, really helping where it's needed the most. So thank you, Secretary Vilsack, for the great partnership, and thank you also to the team, Jamie, team, everyone that's here behind you. I know we always say we're nothing without our team, so a big shout out to everybody who has helped in this journey. Thank you, thank you. And yes, it has been a journey these past few months. I promised everyone I'm going to put food and ag in the center of COP28. We delivered, and I'm so happy that the numbers are going up on the World Declaration. And the declaration is really all about galvanizing the political will needed for the transformation that we need for food and ag, and really sort of letting people know that if we do all we can do on the energy side, we will not be able to reach 1.5 degrees without solving food and ag. It is the second largest emitter, and so making sure that livelihoods, nature is part of this is so important. And that's why, for me, all the achievements that we have so far, I mean, we can always say we have to do more, we need more innovations, we need more investments, we need more partnerships, but I just think AIM4C has really, given us that foundation to be able to catapult to where we need, because acceleration is key here. And so for me, this milestone moment that we kind of try to celebrate every year to say, where do we stand? What are some of the innovations that we see? And now we really want to also push the bar on scaling up some of these great innovations and looking for partnerships in funding. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has partnered with the UAE to really look at how to put more funding into food and ag research, but also Aim for Scale, which is a mechanism where we're looking at identifying some of these great innovations from the Aim for Climate platform and scaling them up. So partnership is key here, and just for you to know, so with the partners of the AIM4C family, we've looked at 4 buckets that we want to focus on: smallholder farmers in low and middle income countries. We're looking at emerging technologies. We're looking at the agroecological research, and then 4th, we're looking at methane reduction. So these are the 4 larger buckets, and of course the sprints, you can see them online. It's just so great to see them. Cool names. The partners that are part of that sprint, and then of course the investments that are coming in. So we're pushing the bar for more. I mean, you've seen the announcements and the pledges. $83 billion so far has been mobilized just during these few days here at COP. A lot of that as well is going into the food and ag space. And we, Secretary Vilsack and I, will be pushing this even further. We've got a lot of events happening during the next 2 days, actually. We had a lot of media interventions yesterday as well, talking about where we reached for Aim for Climate. And I just want to say thank you again, Secretary Vilsack, for your partnership. Thank you to the teams, and looking forward to doing more together. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And now is a very fun part of today's event, where we get to do a deep dive into some of our new innovation sprints and hear from some of the leaders who have catalyzed those innovation sprints and had the vision to pull these coalitions together. Our first speaker is going to be a great friend of Aim for Climate, someone who has been with us from the beginning and has propelled this initiative forward. It is my pleasure to introduce Arthurian Cousin. Please come to the podium.
Good morning. Okay, we can do better than that. This is exciting. Good morning. There we go. There we go. Secretary Vilsack, Minister El-Mari, thank you for this opportunity to join the Aim for Climate family. I appreciate, David, your introduction of me as a friend of Aim for Climate. I feel like I was there at that birthing of Aim for Climate, and have had the opportunity to work with both teams, Jamie on the U.S. side as well as Minister El-Mari's team on the UAE side. And so the food systems transformation, when we sat at COP26 and it wasn't on the agenda and we jumped up and down, we went to COP27 and they gave us a food day. But when the document came out, there was agriculture once and food security and food systems was not there. And yes, Minister, you committed that you were going to put food at the center of this COP, and you did. And Aim for Climate is a big piece of that. And the declaration is the crowning jewel, I think, of that. We're now with, they said 146. I know the goal is 150 by tomorrow. So we're still working on that as we move forward. And the changes that we know that we will not achieve the transformation of the food system without innovation. And the innovations like Bayer's bringing to the table with direct-seeded dried rice that reduces methane, or that Tyson's is bringing to the table to do sustainable livestock management, those are all good. But Aim for Climate says we can do more. We can bring science, we can bring innovation, we can bring small and grow it large. And I'm proud that Food Systems for the Future, my team, that is now meeting with the Green Climate Fund in Rwanda right now, Shanu Saran, who leads that team. We have Miagro, the first of its kind black soldier fly larvae innovative facility on the continent. We've been talking about this for 4 years, but it's coming off the ground, and we have shovels in the ground next year with support from Aim for Climate. We will raise the $55 million that is necessary to build not just the first of its kind automated facility for BSFL on the continent, but the first in the global south. Demonstrating not only that BSFL will provide access to the soy that with soy substitute in feed, but also a high value FROS, which can be used as an organic fertilizer by smallholder farmers on the continent. So 2 lines of business coming out of the factory to demonstrate, yes, it is possible to bring automation onto the continent. We don't need to just do small. We can do innovative based on research to move the continent's transformation of the food system even faster. And I thank Aim for Climate for giving us the opportunity to do just that. Because as Secretary Vilsack ended by saying, somewhere there's a farmer. We know where those farmers are in Rwanda, and we are going to make a difference for them, but also by making the supplement for soy in feed for poultry, we're going to make eggs affordable for children and address issues of stunting and malnutrition on the continent, and starting in Rwanda. So I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Arthurian, for your leadership and for your leadership on a holistic approach to so many of these issues. It is now my pleasure to introduce a wonderful partner across not only AIM for Climate, but several of our leading initiatives and public-private partnerships in the Office of the Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, Chief Sustainability Officer of United Airlines, Lauren Riley.
Well, thank you very much. And I'd like to start with just an acknowledgement of all the leaders and partners of AIM for Climate and their focus on climate-smart agriculture. For a hard-to-abate industry like commercial aviation, we need those innovations, and we need them now, and we need them at scale, which is fundamentally what this partnership is really all about. So aviation is hard to abate, which means we don't have the solutions readily available to transition our heavy emitting industry to one that is lower emitting. And we're really focused on driving the innovations and technologies that will bring us towards more sustainable flight of the future. United's committed to net zero by 2050, but we've always said we will not rely on the use of carbon offsets in our transition plan, which means a triple down on the focus of the role of technology to enable our transition. And it's been a very interesting journey, I have to say, because we are an operator of airlines. We purchase sustainable aviation fuels, which is really the alternative solution to conventional jet fuels, chemically identical, 85% less carbon emissions, with the opportunity to even go further. So think net neutral or a carbon negative fuel of the future. Really exciting stuff. But we really need the innovation. And so we made our commitment to go net zero with a focus on technology. We stood up a venture fund with a focus on driving technology in the marketplace. So we're shifting our role from a consumer of the fuels and the solutions we need to actually a funder. And I'm really pleased today to talk about one of those sprints, which is Blue Blade Energy. This is a joint venture that United Airlines established with Green Plains and others to look at ethanol technology. We're using a DOE Pacific Northwest National Lab catalyst technology to really bring ethanol to market faster, because we do need the scale, and we know ethanol can really play a tremendous impact in driving the kind of market development that we're not seeing quite yet in the sustainable aviation fuel marketplace. And so this $50 million investment at the end of the production of this facility will enable United Airlines to be able to use almost 3 billion gallons of sustainable aviation fuel, which is remarkable when we're talking about a challenge of scale. So again, I would like to thank all of the leaders here today for your focus on climate smart agriculture that is crucial beyond food security, which we all support and agree with, but into other hard to abate industries like aviation. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lauren. And now to introduce a company that's just doing so much for ag innovation across this space, and a company that's putting forward a very interesting innovation sprint this year. My pleasure to introduce Ismail Roig, President for Europe, Middle East, and Africa at ADM. Ismail.
Thank you very much for having me, and I particularly applaud the efforts of the U.S. and the UAE in this area, and very happy to be part of the innovation footprint. A little bit of background on ADM. We're a large agro-industrial company. We have about 40,000 employees around the world in 80 countries, and essentially move a very significant number of commodities, and we transform them. We're obviously very, very aware of the challenges associated with climate change. We emit more than 55 billion tons of carbon every year. We know that 20% of that is agriculture. About a third of that is agriculture. About 2/3 of that is actually animal production. I happen to be head of the animal production unit at ADM, and we're very, very much focused on seeing how we resolve those problems. We've been involved in a wide array of efforts in sustainability, all the way from ensuring that we reduce the amount of deforestation happening in Brazil. We have satellite systems solving problems over there. We have a very strong renewable fuels program. We have a very strong renewable materials program. But the topic that I want to talk to you today about is specifically on the work that we're doing on regenerative agriculture. I don't know whether everyone knows what Regen Ag is exactly, but it is an enormous effort at trying to essentially reuse water and bring back the overall biodiversity that is embedded in soil. And the opportunity is very, very significant in that area. We started our program roughly a year and a half ago. We now have 1 million acres in the United States that are under this Regen Ag program. It's a validated program through an online platform called Farmer Business Network. We have a gradable system that establishes the standards for that. In 2023, we will have about 3 million acres, and by 2025, we will have 4 million acres. Just to give you a sense of what that means, 4 million acres capturing CO2 is the equivalent of what it takes to heat about 100,000 homes in the United States. So if we can get 900 million acres, which is the amount of land that's available just in the United States, you're talking about 22 to 23 million homes. That's about 20% of all of the homes in the United States that would not be emitting. So it's an enormous opportunity to make a very large impact. Now, how do you go about doing that impact? I mean, back to what Secretary Vilsack said, the farmer is at the beginning of all of this. You have to couple the farmer with the end market. So we are working very closely with the farmers in the United States. The program involves not only educational elements, involves also incentives for the farmers. But it's been very important to do that and link it also with the end consumer. That's why we are working very closely with large FMCG companies. We have arrangements with PepsiCo, which are here with us today, arrangements with Nestle, arrangements with Carlsberg. With PepsiCo, we have a 7.5-year program for about 2 million acres. And the whole idea is to bring the value of Regen Ag to the market so that we can create a sustainable, an economically sustainable mechanism all the way from the farm to the end market. So with that, I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this. We have overall committed more than $350 million to the innovation sprint, and Regen Ag is by far our signatory program, which we are leading at this point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ismael, for your leadership and contributions. And now it's a great opportunity to take all of this and put it into perspective. And to put it into perspective, which is perhaps the most important perspective here of all, geographically and temporally. It is a privilege for us to be able to wrap up this year's COP28 Aim for Climate event at the U.S. Center by welcoming to the podium COP28 Youth Delegate from Ghana, Winifred Atanga.
Secretary Vilsack, Minister Omari, partners, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to stand before you today to give the closing remarks to this wonderful occasion. So standing here today, I cannot help but reflect on the reason I am here, not just for myself, but for all the people that are now being able to be here today, for all the communities that are affected by climate change, all the farming communities that have been marginalized with opportunities to continue the agriculture activities. So, my name is Winifred Atanga, and I'm from a small indigenous farming community in Bongo, the Upper East region of Ghana. So picture this. Bongo is a community where the life cycle is through the process of farming and cultivating. So our soil is not just soil under our feet. It is connected to our history. It is connected to who we are. But recently, the harsh effects of climate change have left farmers stranded on how their farming systems go. So growing up in Bongo, I've witnessed the harsh effects of climate change, where farmers are not able to cultivate as much as they used to, and families not getting enough substance for their living and their food. But now witnessing Aim for Climate initiative, I see a beacon of hope for these communities. I see a chance for communities like mine to get help in their agricultural activities. So I'd like to also emphasize that the numbers behind these statistics are actually people. So let's all help achieve the goal that's set by AIM for Climate. Let's not just represent numbers, but let's represent people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winifred. There's really nothing left to say after that. So let me thank you. Let me thank all of you who have brought something here today, brought something to this summit, brought something to COP28, brought something to Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate. This marks just the midway point of our journey, by no means the end. We look forward to seeing you next year to take stock of what we've achieved. We thank you for your hard work, and we wish you an excellent rest of COP28. Thank you.